Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Necromunda, the Book of Desolation, the new supplement for Necromunda by Games Workshop that was sent along as a complimentary review copy, along with the Tracer Pattern Sentry Guns and the Malkadon, Yeld, and Jakara Spire Hunter miniatures, which complete my Spire Hunter gang from Hive Secundus. You can see I've built here the two Oruses in their two different patterns with the claws. I used the Volkite projectors and the bolt launchers, so I have two different ones, and of course they're a little weird mascot. They can have an exotic beast, which is a little wing baby. And this new book is basically the supplement bringing the Spyrers back. They were a Outlands gang from the original 90s Necromunda that famously were, they were very powerful. A lot of people had some problems with the Spyrers based on their power level against the sort of like core gangs from Necromunda. But it was a different time, and I did play them, and I painted all of mine as different Marvel characters. So my Orus was painted as Captain America and Hulk, my Jakara was painted as Elektra and Taskmaster, and then my my Malkadons were painted as Spider-Man and Venom. My Yelds were painted as Archangel, and I think I did Green Goblin. I can't remember what I painted the other one as. Anyway, I painted them as stupid Marvel characters. And this is a slightly more serious version of all of that. It also includes some of the material in the Hive Secundus rulebook, including how to do an Underhells campaign in sort of a more advanced format, a full gang list for playing the Malstrain, although they only exist in Underhells campaigns. These are the forces of the, oh geez, I choked on my own words there. The forces of the Patriarch. They're living in Hive Secundus, which is a gravity-bombed ruin of a hive. Basically, like there was a huge civil war, there's an uprising. Evil Magos was, actually you can see here on the cover, was responsible for bringing samples of the Gene Stealer to Necromunda, letting them loose, and it nearly overran the entire world. And he's actually back as a weird clone. He's the second son. The Patriarch basically allowed his DNA to remain relatively undiminished, and you can get him as a hired gun for Malstrain gangs. And yeah, and the going into as explorer teams led by a Spyrer, going into the Underhells is its own separate campaign feature in here. So let's go through and see just sort of the overview of what we got. We got a full color rulebook here. It is 110 pages. Has the Time of Desolation, which is basically talking about the rumblings of the Patriarch coming back in and trying to like get himself, you know, like past the dust wall to take over Necromunda and turn it into a Tyranid invasion point. We have the Spire Hunter gang rules. We have the Secundus incursion gangs, which is a short set of rules basically for using any Necromunda gang led by a Spyrer as explorer teams. And that includes all the house gangs, the Venator team. You can also use the Enforcer team, like the Squat Prospectors. They can all go down led by a Spyrer. And the Spyrer kind of just like, he doesn't really lead them. He uses them as bait, which is very funny. Rules for the Malstrain gangs, including a new unit that wasn't in the Coalescence, which is their weird, which there's no model for in this book, so I don't know what it exactly looks like, but it sounds like it's a weird, almost like a mini Zoanthrope. Malstrain corrupted gangs is basically a way of using, almost like an opposite of the Secundus incursion gang. So it's like a gang that's been infiltrated slightly by the Gene Stealer cult, and then running the campaigns themselves. New campaign scenarios for playing not just on the 2D terrain, but for playing like full Necromunda games using setup. So you can also have games that use vehicles, in which case they use the Abyssal Ferryman teams. So you have these crazy ferrymen that are like I don't even know how to describe them. They're like psychos from Borderlands. Like they're so outlawed that they're not allowed to leave the zone, but they're kind of like survivor colonies inside the zone. And you get a custom rig, which is just make whatever vehicle you want. Again, only used in Underhells campaigns. And then rules for the Vansar Tech Hunter, which was introduced in the book and added, of course, to the main Vansar list. We got rules for the trains, for the Tracer Pattern Sentry Gun, which is this guy right here, which has a bunch of different forms. You can basically have it with twin grenade launchers, heavy stubbers, or you can have it, I think it's with an autocan, like a little mini, oh no, it's heavy stubbers. And then you got your sentry gun like control turret. So it's got real Aliens vibes, you know what I mean, for the smart guns from Aliens, the sentry guns from Aliens. And then you're just like all of your reference stuff like the gang tactics cards and stuff for playing as the various gangs. All right, so let's talk about the Spire Hunting Party. So they kind of abdicate most of what you do in a campaign in Necromunda. Like, for instance, they don't earn income. All of their extra credits after you hire them are like thrown away. And they represent a bunch of noble kids from House Helmar who are almost like built into their hunting rigs now. This wasn't so much a thing in the 90s version of Necromunda, but in this, the hunting rigs, which were kind of alluded to be maybe Tau technology or based on like Xenos technology in the Fnatic era of Necromunda, yeah, they straight up have to cut your arms and legs off sometimes to fit you into these things. And the four most popular ones are, as I said earlier, the Orus, which is the big strong guy with the claws and the bolt launchers. You have the Yell, which is the winged one, the Malkadon, which is the Spider-Man-y claw one, kind of the predator-looking one, the Jakara, which is the sword and mirror shield one, and then there's the special character one, which we'll talk about later. A character from the Insurrection campaign, the big like uprising campaign, ends up in Secundus and is very different. Her name's Hera. So there are ideas that they want to run a terror purge whenever they win a campaign game, so they just earn 2 XP because they start scaring people. And they got their unique territory, the Spyrer base camp. It's got recovery systems during the wrap-up of each phase. The Spyrer hunting party gang takes part in. One Spyrer can perform post-battle action as if they were in convalescence. Spyrer hunting party may never lose control of their Spyrer base camp territory because they have a very small gang. And then as you play games, you get the terror level to increase. Because the idea is that these guys are hunting commoners, sort of, and proving themselves to the Lords of Necromunda. And that puts fear into the local population. So a gang's terror level starts at 1. At the start of the update roster, step of the post-battle sequence, increase their terror level according to the terror level increase table. There is no limit to the number of times call leadership can be claimed during the post-battle sequence, which means you kill leader. Censure, at least 4 enemy fighters or vehicles are taken out of action or wrecked during the game as a direct action of a Spyrer. You get +1 to your terror level. Call the leadership, an enemy leader or champion was taken out of action by direct action from a Spyrer for +1. And lightning raid, 1 or more enemy fighters or vehicles is taken out of action as a direct result of a Spyrer doing it during the first round of the game for 1 point. And then benefits from 1 to 4, you get no boon. But from 5 to 9, you get your Careted Prime for free. So this little guy, little wing guy, he comes in for free, he just shows up. 10 to 14, the gang may immediately hire a Spyrer with a total cost, including equipment, of 300 credits or less for free. So this is how you get your new gang members, because they send more down as you get like better. And then 1 additional Spyrer may perform post-battle convalescences, because your roost gets better. And then 20 plus, the gang can immediately hire a Spyrer worth 400 or less credits for free. And as you see, these guys are extremely expensive. They have their own progression system where their suits basically will level up as they power boost, and their credit cost, like their value goes up when it happens. So like combat neuroware, your weapon skill ballistic goes up by 1, heightened reactions, your initiative goes up by 1, your improved motive power, your movement goes up by 1 to a maximum of 8, thickened armor, your save goes up by 1 to a maximum of 2+, and then hunting rig augmentation. Pick a weapon or piece of war gear that carried by the Spyrer and increases augmentation level by 1, and they all have like tiers of how good they are. And then your damage table is glitches to the system. Your guy basically becomes more damaged because he's welded into the robot. He can't take the suit off. So the glitches you can pick up by being damaged are things like reduced power distribution. The Spyrer goes into convalescence, increases their glitch count by 1, and randomly selects a weapon's AP to be reduced by 1. Or seized locomotors, your glitch count goes up by 1 and your movement gets reduced by 1. So if during the purchase advancement step of the post-battle sequence, a Spyrer's glitch counter is higher than its toughness, the rig shuts down and you're dead forever. So delete the Spyrer Hunter and all their equipment from the gang roster. So basically the suit rejects you. Then you've got things like your Spyrer Huntmaster. This is your leader. He's always going to be a mix of like a Malkadon and a Naga Yelled. He just doesn't seem to be able to be an Orus. He can be any of these guys. So when you build this box set, you can see there's a Spyrer Huntmaster with like a mix of weapons, or you can have a Jakara, or you can have a Malkadon. So the Jakara's got the shield and the sword. The Malkadon's got the claws. The Spyrer Huntmaster has like the sword and the claw, but I guess could also have the wings. No, I guess he can't have the wings, but he can have a Careted. Yeah. But anyway, this is your Spyrer Master leader. He's your leader. It must always include a single fighter with this rule. The idea is, I guess, that he's survived but gone back, so like he gets to like cobble together his suit out of other rigs. And yeah, his core stat line, it's 2+ weapon skill, bliss skill 3+, strength toughness 3 with 3 wounds. So he's pretty light, but he also has a basic like equipment like cost that's gonna get added to his 180 credit cost. So like slashing claw with weapon sizes, grappling launcher, and drop rig is 60 credits. And you can take 2 up of these things. So you can take a monomolecular blade for 50 and a Naga blade for 50, or like a yelled missile gauntlet for 30 and a slashing claw. So basically all the little guys can be combined up to make your leader. You can have the Prime, Web Solvent, Respirator, Photolumens, Photogoggles, Chemsynth, or a Bio Booster as well. And you get your Spyrer Hunter champions, and they are going to be an Oris hunting rig, Oris power talons and 2 bolt launchers, and then you can change it up. So your champions seem to always be able to group activate, right? Because they're all champion level. So Oris power champion, I guess they count as champions for kills and stuff too. So this is the Oris one. He's got toughness 4, so you get 4 glitches you're going to shut down, or more than 4 glitches you're going to shut down. You automatically come with reflex enhancers, Master of the Hunt, kill count, and Spyrer hunting rig glitches special rules from 28 and 29, so you have all the stuff I went through earlier. The Yelled, he's got a 2+ skill and a weapon skill 4+. This guy's just kind of more balanced 3s and 3s. A lot faster, obviously, because he has the Yelled suit. He has a hunting rig, Yelled laser gauntlets, and Yelled wings, including the starting cost. And you can buy either a laser gauntlet and replace it with a Yelled missile launcher for free. And you can take the other stuff like the Bio Boosters. These guys are pretty set. And then the Jakara Spyrer Hunter, he's 2+, 4+, so again, he's a melee guy. He comes with the hunting rig, mirror shield, and monomolecular sword, and then he can have swaps for a Naga blade for his sword, and then the usual stuff like a Bio Booster, Photo Goggles, Photolumen, Respirator, Solvent, and Credit Prime. There is no Credit Prime in this one. So if you've got the Oris, which I assume are going to be a separate box, but if you have the Secundus box set, you've got 1 of these things so far. So getting 5 might be a little difficult. And then you get your Malkadon, which is your Spider-Man. He's going to come with a hunting rig, drop rig, grapple launcher, paired weapon sizers, and then paired Malkadon slashing claws. And he can replace his claws with toxin whips instead, and then have all the same core gear. And of course, the crowded, as we talked about in the previous one, he's like got precognition. So he allows you to give it like a 3+ unmodifiable save roll for himself. And then he gives the precognition as a charm companion to reroll a failed armor save or a failed ammo test per round to somebody within 3. So he's a little lucky charm. He's just handy when you have so few guys. And as you can see, they're super spendy. So with 1,000 credits, right, you're probably getting a Malkadon's, so like it's basically 4. So you're gonna get a Malkadon, a Jakara, that's gonna be 490. A Yelled would take you to, yeah, you're not getting all of them. You're getting 2 plus a leader plus the Oris if you want the Oris, because he's 350 because he's so expensive because he's so tough. So you're probably, because you have to take the leader, and he's gonna probably get up to like 300 if you buy him like a mirror shield and grapple launchers. So then you're looking at 650. Oof. Yeah, you can't even make him that expensive. I actually don't think you can start with the Oris. I think he's too expensive. You gotta wait to get the Oris, really. Because you have to take the leader, and the leader's got to take, he may take up to 2 of these things. So like if you give him like a laser gauntlet and or a missile gauntlet and a sword, or a slashing claw and a sword, he's going to be 90, 270. So 520 if you take the Oris and just keep him like stock. Yeah, 570, you're looking at 790. Yeah, and then you can't afford either the Jakara or the Malkadon. Yeah, you're not taking the Oris basically to start with, it doesn't look like. So that's kind of cool because it means this box is a good starting gang. You just wait to hire the Oris afterwards. But you could easily get them out of this, right? Because the Jakara, the Yelled, and the Malkadon are all roughly 250. Yeah. That's probably what I would do, is just make it out of this box. So this box makes it like a nice cool 1,000 cred gang to start off with. We get the Malstrain gangs, again, same as in the Secundus box, but you actually have a value for them now. So what they did in the Secundus box is made them almost like a swarm. They just integrated them into the campaign and had these like swarm points or gang points that you would use to like fight with or build your gang each mission. In this, you've got standard sort of Necromunda mission layout, and then you buy this as a gang. You just can't use them outside of Necromunda. But they do all the normal gang stuff. They just have access to a few extra things. So your gang composition and your leader, you have to nominate someone who's a champion, like the Coalescence or the Gene Stealer, to be a leader. And then, so like you can have a Gene Stealer be a leader, which is very funny. And then if they die, you just automatically nominate a new one. These guys are all like abominations, which means they can't do post-battle sequence stuff. So like Xenos Abomination can't perform post-battle actions, so you can't really go and buy anything. You can buy them Tyramites though, which can came in that box set. as your exotic beasts. And then the Brood Scum are like the core of everybody. They can have multiple weapon skets because they are tools of the trade guys, and they'll count as gangers. And then, yeah, your Tyrmites, little exploding, they have dodge, but they're like little exploding like dudes. And the Coalescence, which has the following weird power access: Catalyst, Hypnotic Gaze, Horror, Leech Essence, Paroxysm, and Aura of Despair. So all the second edition Tyranid powers, which I think is a cool thing. They use those names. Second edition 40k powers from the Dark Millennium box set. And then it itself, 155 creds. It's toughness 4 with 2 wounds. It's a champion. Weapon skill 4, bliss skill 5. He's got flight, because he like floats over everything. He's got Shadow of the Malstrain, which means he's a non-sanctioned psyker. And recruit can select a single Malstrain power to know. During the campaign play, they can purchase additional weird powers at specs XP for a random or 9 to choose. And then they're abominations, so no bonus post-game actions. And during the course of the campaign, a Coalescence can be given a Malstrain Tyrmite, up to 2 of them for 70 creds. What in the Throne's name is that? Skrull, the Divine Scavengers. I think that's very funny, because we don't even know what it looks like. And then why play these guys? Because they're fun, cool, and fit the thing. They gain the following benefits if you want to be a corrupted Malstrain gang. So, Will the Patriarch. During gang creation, a player can decide their gang is going to carry the Malstrain taint. If they do, they gain the benefits of the following, and are an outlaw gang. The 6 following gangs can be Malstrain and corrupted. So, Khador, Dalak, Escher, Goliath, Kork, Orlok, and Mansar. Bad Zone Enforcers, Corpse Grinder Cults, and Palanite Enforcers. The benefits are your gang leader can be upgraded to be a Psyker. Up to 3 Malstrain Ginsters can be recruited as Brutes. Up to 2 Malstrain Coalescences can be recruited as a Brute. Oh, sorry, 1, sorry. 2 Malstrain Tyranites can be purchased for each leader and champion, and any number of Malstrain Brutes can be hired. So you get basically like a converted gang here that's corrupted. And then upgrading leader to a Psyker for 35 creds. They can get Malstrain weird powers. The Malstrain Coalescence basically can be taken, and they lose the gang hierarchy special rule, because they're brutes. And then the Tyrmites can be used as the whatchamacallit, the exotic beasts for your champions and stuff. And then you can take their Brood Scum as if they were Malstrain Brood Scum, as if they're part of the same gang list. So all the Brood Scum can be hired just in as gangers. And then if you're lucky, you can find the first of their special characters, the Malstrain Alpha. It's an alpha. It's just a really big gene stealer. You have to petition to see if it shows up, rolling, and basically, instead of the gang wishes, the controlling player must roll on the following. So you roll d6 and add your rep. So it's 100 creds at least on a 16 plus. The higher your rep is, it just decides it doesn't need to show up anymore. So when you're lower level, you can get this guy to show up. And he's got a cool ambush predator ability where like he can fade as a double, and then show back up as if he has infiltrate. He's a prize trophy. If a Spyrer Hunter takes him out, he counts as 2 for the kill counter. He's an outlaw, and then he's got Madness of the Malstrain. An enemy fighter who wishes to perform the charge double action against the Malstrain Alpha must first take a willpower test. If they fail, they end their activation and gain Insane, because it freaks them out so bad. And he's a giant gene stealer, so weapon skill 2 plus, bliss skill 6 plus, strength 5, toughness 4, 3 wounds. And he's got his crazy 2 damage rending claws. And then the Underhells campaign. So this is basically the same idea, where it's like it's a bottle episode. You're in this one particular radioactive soaked gravity bomb crushed hive, and you can't really get out past the dust wall, but you're exploring, looking for archaeotech and stuff like that. And you're either part of the Malstrain forces or you're part of the explorer forces, trying to keep them in. And then the Malstrain stuff is used only in this campaign. I really like that. I'll be honest. I like the idea of like a bespoke set of lists that are only available in this one area, because it lets you do weird stuff and make weird new models and have it feel special, as opposed to everything just being everywhere in Necromunda. I really like that. I don't mind that they can't be used everywhere, and I do like that they have to fit their setting. You can't just have them be in a regular Necromunda campaign where it doesn't make any sense, because if Gene Stealer showed up in Hyde Primus, the Space Marines would show up. You know what I mean? Like, it would be bad for the entire planet. They're trying to keep this whole thing on the DL locked in this reactor cracked ruin of a hive that was all crushed by the gravity bombs. So then you can choose sides. Archie Hunter's Allegiances gain a ferryman team for the duration of the incursion and delving phases. So basically whenever you need to do like a drive-by, you get the ferryman teams. And the Allegiances change how the gang is affected by Madness and Desolation of rules. So you basically have like your setting stuff. You get your basic territories, which all get their special rules. You issue and accept challenges using these rules. And then typically you play 6 cycles. So you have an incursion phase, a downtime, a delving phase, a downtime, and a survival phase. And the idea here is you show up, you start to rumble the beast, and then the more that you agitate it, the more the Malstrain sort of like wake up and start hunting you. And then you get your different triumphs, of course, for winning the campaign. Explorer, if you do marks exploration points that you can get from delving, then you get that triumph. Slayer of the Malstrain, if you kill the most Malstrain Gene Stealers, you get that one. Lord of Secundus, the player's game with the highest rep gets this one. Warmonger, the person who fought the most battles. Champion of the Malstrain, the player that won the most as a Malstrain. And Conqueror of the Underhells, the person that won the most as the Archeo Hunters. And we get Madness, Desolation, and Darkness. I do love that like they go to like the Lovecraftian part of this, where it's like, no, you're exploring a place that you don't want to be in, and there's bad stuff down here. So you get your Madness, Ghost of the Dead. Archeo Hunters affiliated fighters who fail to rally after getting the broken condition must pass a willpower check or gain insane. And then Malstrain affiliated fighters apply a -1 modifier to all nerve tests because they don't care. Echoes in the Abyss. Archeo, so this is just like the whispering things that are happening while you're playing the game. Echoes in the Abyss. Archeo Hunters affiliated fighters who fail to rally after getting the broken condition gain the insane condition, and Malstrain affiliated fighters are unaffected. Shadow of the Broodmine. Archeo Hunters who would gain the broken condition instead gain insane. And then Malstrain affiliated fighters gain +1 modifier to all nerve tests. And then finally, you get the Desolations that can be on the different scenarios. Archeo Hunter affiliated lists cannot gain access to limited trade, cannot gain access to their gang equipment list or add additional models after creating their gang, and all items, rarities, and illegal ratings go up by 2. Malstrain affiliated gangs cannot access their gang equipment lists and additional models, and all items trading post increase their rare and illegal ratings by 6, with common items gaining a rare 12. And then Crane Cities, all gangs cannot access their gang equipment list or add additional models, and all items in the trading post increase their rare and illegal by 4, with common going to 10. And then Cut Off from the World. Archeo Hunters affiliate gangs cannot access their gang equipment lists or add additional models after creation. All items in the trading post increase their rare and illegal limits by 6, with commons going rare 12. And then Malstrain gangs cannot access their gang equipment lists or add additional models, and all items in the trading post increase their rare and illegal by 2. So basically it seesaws back and forth. The further in you are, what gets like, you can never hire basically when these things are happening, but it gets increasingly hard to like get any kind of supplies to add to your army or your gang. Then we get Darkness, so you've got Visibility X 18, Toxic Deeps goes to 12, and Stygian Depths goes to 9 because it gets darker and darker the deeper you go. And then we got all the territories. They're all set basically in this different bad zone that you're fighting in. And then our first of our Dramatis Personae, we have Lady Hera in her Sthean pattern hunting rig. She's a Medusa now. So she's gone running. She's arrived in Secundus. Her brother basically fits her body into a suit by like cutting her to pieces. And she's now got a phase sword and a power spear. There's no picture of the miniature yet, but I'm super excited about this. Her skulls that were holding her cloak up become watch skulls, and she has a weird Medusan projector thing that flashes. So like she can freeze you basically with her gaze. She has 4 arms, the Scythian Claws, which are 4 -1/2 damage with melee, power pack, and pulverize. And then her power spear can be melee or ranged. It's melee power versatile if you're fighting at melee, and then you can throw it 8 inches. For a damage 2 attack at range. And then the phase sword, strength +1, damage 2 with melee, parry, and phase. It's pretty cool. Any law-abiding gang does not simply hire Lady Hera in the Scythian Powder Honey Raid, they must petition her. So you basically roll, and if you roll and add your rep, you can hire for 100 creds if you roll low, and the higher you go, she might just not show up. Her hunting rig gives her a 4+ armor save and 5+ field armor save, and then she's got a 360 vision as well. And she also has homing teleport, sorry. Whenever she uses her power sphere to make a range attack, roll a d6. On a 3+, nothing happens. On a 1 or 2, the homing teleport built into the power sphere runs out of charge after returning it to Lady Hera's hand. Once run out of charge, she uses the power sphere only to make range attacks, and then it cannot be used again for the remainder of the battle. So basically it doesn't come back. She has sibling rivalry. If she's in her armor and she begins within 9 of another Spyrer Hunter, all her weapons gain the Reckless trait. And Lord of Helmwar, a gang may not include both Lady Hera and Scythian Power Armor, and Lady Hera, 13th daughter of Lord Helmwar, in the same army. And we get the scenarios. So these are all modifications of the scenarios that came in that core book. They still have roaming horrors, so like just random stuff can show up if you're not fighting against a whatchamacallit gang, a Malstrain gang. They activate based on 2 different sort of like natures. You have your cautious for brood scum, where they move into cover and shoot you, or aggressive, where they try and charge and fight. Data crystal stacks rules are repeated here, and then we've got a variety of scenarios like defend the camp, zone exploration, which will up your exploration points, escape the zone, we're trying to get away, lost in the ruins, trophy hunt, Underhells encounter, where you're just like fighting a basic encounter. And those are really it, but they all use the battlefield rules from the Necromunda core rulebook, so you can play them 3 different ways, which is why we have the Ferryman. Then we got Hermidas, House Agent, the Second Son. This is the dude who is now corrupted. He was basically brought back. He was killed for unleashing the Gene Stealers by the Imperial nobility, and then he comes back as this like weird half Tyrannid Magus. You can try and find him if you're a Malstrain corrupted gang or a Malstrain gang. He's an unsanctioned psyker, and he has all the weird powers, and he's an outlaw agent. And he's got like his last pistol, his razor sharp claws that are damage 3. He's got Crushing Blow, Fearsome Hurl, and Spring Up, Flak Armor, and Respirator. Hardened Flak Armor and Respirator. He's got 3 wounds at Strength 4, Toughness 3. So he's pretty dangerous, and you can hire him if he'll show up to fight for your outlaw gangs. And we have the Ferryman teams, who are never part of your gang, never earn experience. They just show up for when you need to play an exploration game. You got some special characters that will be part of it, though. You got Hagthor Jarlan and Aster Felstrom, who can just be free upgrades for the vehicles if you want. And then Madrick Hellbane and Lugrin. These are other hired guns, basically, for a Survivor Enclave. Rules for making your own custom rig, so how big it is and driving around it. And we get the Vansar Tech Hunter rules reprinted for going in the Vansar gangs. Rules for the gun turrets, so the Tracer pattern sentry guns, which are illegal 10 are common in Underhells campaigns because they don't allow them to be in Necromunda. You don't want to have indiscriminate grenade launchers anywhere. But if you're in the Underhells, they kind of understand you having them. And they're a weird deployable platform with toughness 4 and 2 wounds, skill 5+. And they have the target spotted rule. They don't gain ready markers and cannot perform actions. Each time a fighter, friend, or foe ends their activation in line of sight, then they perform a shoot basic action targeting that model. Tracer pattern sentry guns can react this way multiple times every round. If a friendly fighter is within 1, they gain control of it and will not control their gang's fighters. And if you want to buy them, the grenade launchers with twin frags is 65. The twin stubby stubber is 130. The Gravitic Trench where the bombs fell. I like this is just a giant. It looks like the glowing sea from Fallout 4. And we got our color section with all our Spyrers, all these great miniatures from that new box set, gang tactics cards, all the equipment for the bolt launchers and stuff in your upgrades, which I'm not going to go through every single one because they're just basically make guy better, gun fight better, weapon fight better, and that's it. So if you didn't get the Hive Secundus box, this is a great other option for converting and using your existing Necromunda gangs in this new setting. You don't need new specific terrain. You just get to use these gangs. If you've got some Tyrannid bits, you can convert a House Corrupted gang. You can convert the Malstrain, get some Gene Stealer miniatures, and just make them cool. The basics of the Gene Stealers themselves is that they're weird because they live in the mutated from the base Gene Stealer strain by the gravitic bombardment that destroyed Hive Secundus, along with the resultant radiation leaks from the dead hive. Malstrain exhibit a far greater variety in form, color, and markings than the usual kin, and gives the hobbyist freedom to paint their Malstrain in any array of colors they want. Because they're often pale, white, gray, or covered in disease markings, reflecting their place as horrific mistakes of nature. Yeah, this is just a great option for having a brand new setting. I wish more of the Necromunda campaign books were like this, where you got stuff you only had to worry about in that setting, because trying to keep everything balanced, I think, is a bit of a mistake in Necromunda. It has a lot of rulebook bloat at this point, whereas doing these one-off expansions that give you the core stuff has access to it, right? But everything else is in the one book. It's kind of like a D&D expansion. This is what Necromunda, I feel like, really, really excels at. I would love to see one of these for like being on an alien Romulus, where you're on like an orbiting space station where, I don't know, some like Magus biologist has gone insane and it's like Jamie Lee Curtis virus, you know what I mean? Or it's demonic entities like Ghost Ship. Like, give me a Ghost Ship. Give me an orbiting spaceship that has demons on it, you know what I mean? And ghosts and stuff. Like, I love the idea of these being episodic almost and creating their own setting. And I think that this size book, like 110 pages, is just the right amount of size to give you a cool campaign where you can take your guys on a road show. Your gang can go somewhere, do something interesting, potentially come back and have another campaign. Or you and your buddies can plan a weekend gaming session where you like rip through all this stuff and everybody does like a part of the heavy lifting. So yes, good on these. I think these designers for making something that I think has a lot of legs even just template-wise for future things, I would love to see more Necromunda stuff in this vein where it feels like a singular adventure in a singular book. And if you're interested, yeah, go pick it up. It's available for pre-order today, along with the plastic Yelled Jakara Spire Hunters gang, which includes the leader, right? Because you get your Spire Hunt Master in there as well. The Sentry Guns, and as we kind of determined, you don't super need the Aurus if you don't have this kind of box set. Don't worry about it so much because your starting gang is easily built out of the 4 models in that box. So anyway, there we go. Big thanks for Workshop sending these along. If you guys were watching, thanks now, Mash. Have a good day.